So you're not family. I mean, yes, you are. You're family, not friends. I'm just starting over. Okay, here we go. Okay, dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the incredible gift of my daddy, Charles Guerra, best known to everyone as Charlie, or as his friends would call him, or his CB handle, Red Man. Now, you might want to know where he got the Red Man from. Anybody know? Yes. He chewed Red Man chewing tobacco for years. And you know how I knew that? Because he had this can, and when we were driving in a car, he would, and then when we stopped at a red light, he'd open up the door, and he'd dump it out. And I was looking around, because we lived in a small town called Pace, Florida, and back then it was real small, so when he opened up the door and, dipped it out, I was just making sure none of my friends were around, on their bikes or walking or whatever. Anyway, okay, back to the prayer. Oh, sorry. So, Father, you blessed me with a father who was a strong provider and faithful protector. He worked with steady hands at Monsanto until he retired. I thought about that protector, and when I was a senior in high school, he said, I was a junior, and he goes, do you want a class ring or a car? And I said, are you kidding me? I want a car. I want a car. And so he drove up in this 1927 Rambler. Back then, though, I was desperate. I said, hoorah, I got a car. Well, I told him one day, Daddy, I don't think the brakes are working. So have you ever heard the word jerry-rig? Now, Daddy jerry-rigged my brakes. So I'm going up to Pace High School. Florida's flat, right? But in Pace, somehow we have hills. Well, at Pace High School, they had a big old hill to the stop sign. And then you got on this Shamuckla Highway or whatever. I guess that's the name of the road. I don't remember. But anyway, so he just said, well, if they don't work, just pump the brakes. So I'm driving down. I'm so proud of my car. It was beat up, but it was okay. It was my car. Anyway, so I'm going down the hill, and all of a sudden I go, and I'm going. And I remember Daddy said pump the brakes, and I'm going. Well, I finally stopped because I down geared. I knew how to shift a gear to stop. But anyway, that was my daddy. He was a protector, and he really was. He just liked to jerry-rig things. Anyway, he never met a stranger, greeting and talking to everyone he met with warmth and kindness. His generosity knew no limits, and his love ran deep. He was a devoted husband and loyal to his beloved darling. They always talked to each other, saying darling, sweetheart, for 76 years. And out of love for her, he chose to undergo dialysis just to have another 3.5 years by her side. That kind of love is rare, and I thank you for letting me witness it. Randy and I witnessed it. He was there for me when I was an athlete in high school, showing up for my volleyball games and track meets, taking pride in every accomplishment, big or small. I always knew he was proud of me, just as he was proud of my brothers and sisters. His support was steady and sure. He helped shape who I am. He was also a man of principle and conviction. He could not stand political corruption, or what he saw as the destruction of the country he loved. As part of the greatest generation, he carried the values of duty, sacrifice, and honor, and he proudly served his country in the Navy and Air Force reserves, never afraid to give his life in service to America. Sorry. God, thank you so much for the memories, the laughter, the lessons, and the love. Through him, I saw glimpses and the essence of your heart and your steadfastness and your generosity and how true you are, and I am forever grateful. In his latter years, if anyone asked Dad how he was doing, he would say, I am blessed and highly favored. I agree, he is. I can hear your voice say to Dad when he left this earth on June 23rd, 2025, well done, good and faithful servant. With all my heart, thank you and love you, your daughter and son, Randy and Marika.